hizi pingu zimenifunga zikanishinda kusonga mbele, nashindwa kanta shinda hapa milele. Nahitaji ukombozi sahi, nahitaji ukombozi sahi.
According to the story hapa, kuna several accounts on
what happened to Waiyaki, but he did not return to the people. He never returned to the people. Some say he was buried alive. Exactly. Some said he alienda exile, alikuwa captured akiwa exile. But I strongly feel like they actually killed him.
The same thing a book Professor Meinerzhagen said. They actually killed him, but he also acknowledged that could exist a story that he was buried alive.
So and there is a Mau Mau general that avenged for Waiyaki's death by burying a white soldier alive, like they buried Waiyaki. General Kariba.
One of the generals were Mau Mau. Waiyaki led a fight even to his last minute.
Walimchain huku kwa miguu na mikono. Imagine actually ni collaborators walishika Waiyaki. Kenyan Jui.
On August 17,
yes.
1992, Waiyaki, still in chains, was secretly marched towards the coast in the night under a heavy armed escort. However, upon reaching Kibwezi, Masako district, according to multiple sources, he refused to cooperate. With fire of patriotism burning in his heart, he told his captors, "I'm not going where you are taking me. You have to kill me first."
Niko bieko umora adwara. Niko juraga muko juraga.
Asante sana mimi nimeenda straight kwa translation ya Kizungu.
Meisoma vile imeandikwa.
Put up a stabbed sister, consequently was brutally murdered and married in an unmarked grave. Before they buried him, they savagely mutilated his body. Popular belief in central Kenya among the Gikuyu is that the British invaders buried Waiyaki alive. The Gikuyu remember this killing of their heroic leader with pain and anger. To avenge him, your story.
Yes.
The Mau Mau commander on Kirinyaga front captured a white settler and in 1954 and buried him alive. There's something I note, Wanjera. Whenever we talk of historical revolutionaries were a country, even in Africa, buried in unmarked graves.
Why?
Why? To date,
atujui Kimathi ako wapi, alizikwa wapi, but he's buried in an unmarked grave.
Yeah, the same thing to Waiyaki, and I think you can point several cases. Why do you think so?
I think because these are symbols of what we can do as a people, who we are, our heroic people. They are as in wewe ukika hapo umedi umse Kimathi.
Yeah.
Yani alido hizo mimi sikai Kimathi, you know, as in we can see ourselves in them, and they inspire us to actually want that freedom and live that freedom. They are symbols of hope, resistance, and freedom, like the courage, the goodness, the humanity in them, that they remind us who we are as a people, that's us. Hatujawai give up, by the way. Mimi kama Wanjera sijawai give up kutaka kuwa free, kutaka kuwa kwa land yangu, kutaka kuwa, you know, a free person, and every other person, because I will never be free until we are all free. And I think this is what many people in the world do not understand. The billionaires of this world, the ruling class of this world, we are never ever going to be free until we band as humanity and actually become free.
Exactly. Indeed, ni symbols. Symbol of unity,
yeah, ni symbol
of resistance. And they understood this. Our love.
Symbol ya unity na symbol ya resistance.
One day lazima tupate hii grave ya Kimathi. Lazima tupate hii grave ya Kimathi.
Walichukua remains za cargo. After wamemchoma, wakachukua ashes zake, wakapeleka huko Brito.
General Cargo tukifika,
can't wait tufike kwa General Cargo.
Cargo ni kwa General Muranga front, na tutaongelea story yake. So Wanjera nani amededi ama amedisappear?
Na wasasa wameharibika, wana fight.
So, resistance
haikustop.
So it continued within Dagoretti, within Kiambu, within the central region. Kuna battle ya 1902 recorded kwa hii book.
In Muranga.
Yeah, in Muranga. Inaitwa the Battle of Muruka. Hii battle, our own people led a fierce resistance. Now, actually, Koi battle ali defeat the British.
I can read what Edward Hall sent to his father. This was one of the soldiers kwa British Army. Ameandikia budake barua, amemwambia, we made a mess of their villages, and as the other column was working along 2 miles off, the natives had a warm time, but they wouldn't stand. So I had no chance of trying my war rockets. Oh my goodness. The Major Smith with his one arm carried a shotgun and bragged a brace in the first crowd, but I had no fun for a long time. Yani, it was fun for these guys to shoot and kill us. Unaona vile wanasamanga wild animals ni game, they are gaming. They were gaming with us. Man, well, we brought in 1,000 goats and load of grain, but we did not manage to do much execution as the brutes wouldn't stand. There is only one way of improving the Wakikuyu, and that is wipe them out. I should be only too delighted to do so, but we have to depend on them for food supplies. Wipe them out?
And that's the true picture ya colonization. Colonization was brutal. Hakuna njia ingine ya kuidefine, ya kusugarcoat.
Yani hawase, umse anaambia budake, the only way kudeal na hawa watu ni kuwamada wote. But hatuwezi wamada wote, juu lazima tupate food, nao ndio wana lima. I think the shock is we were almost exterminated. That's my shock.
Yes, I'll just read because there was another bloody battle. Battle involved the whole, it lasted for a whole week. In retaliation to defeat resistance, the British sent 2 of their best commanders. Hapo ndo kuna mnyama anaitwa Richard Meinerzhagen and Major May.
Mbona mimi namuita Maina?
Meinerzhagen hiyo jina yake
hiyo jina ni ngumu. Meinerzhagen.
Usisahau jina Richard.
Richard.
So Wanjira.
Yes.
To discuss a lot of resistance since the beginning of the Liberated Minds podcast. Richard Meinerzhagen, a colonel wa British, ndio the true face of colonialism.
True face of colonialism.
Tunaweza chukua mse kutela colonization ilikuwa. So all these colonialist apologists, colonial interpretations are could justify.
Kuna mtu ana justify colonialism?
The reason why we don't know Richard Meinerzhagen, Richard what is because it's because tuko colonial interpretations zenye zime sanitize hizi history. Actually, one of the book that people should look for, the Kenya Diary, is in the letters za Richard Meinerzhagen from 1902 to 1906.
Mwasa nafanya niogope kusoma hiyo book kwa sababu anasema Wanjero ukisoma hii book you'll need to see a counselor right after.
It will traumatize you. You wish the things they talk and discuss are not true.
Wow.
But they are true. Who Richard Meinerzhagen was a killer and killed for pleasure. Kwa hii kitabu Professor Meinerzhagen anasema Meinerzhagen was a pathological bloodthirsty killer. And remember, amekam just after Wayaki has died and the resistance has continued. So Meinerzhagen ametumwa as one of the best commander.
Okay. So ni vile wase wamekuwa na noma zaidi. Juu leader wao amemadwa na wase sasa wamewashow their true colors. Like we are not wageni by the way, we have come to.
So it's war.
It's war.
Meinerzhagen tu akisha kuingilia kwa scene anasema hivi, though the war drums were sounding throughout the nights, we reached the villages. I gave orders that every living thing should be killed without mercy. Every living soul was either shot. We burned all the huts and razed the banana plantations to the ground. It happened.
You know, Moas, yes. Sometimes we tell these stories as so they are stories from where can we imagine us now ourselves. This is the story of our people. This is our story. Tuseme uko Dago kwenye unaishi ama mtaa Madhare ama wherever. Wase wamekam, they have burnt down our hearts. Wamechoma kwenye mnaishi, wamechoma food kwa plantations zenyu na wanawamada. That was the reality in Kenya in 1902 when Uyu Richard alikam. Ati let us burn everything and kill all living thing. Like these are foreigners that came to our land to do this. Hawa tu walikuja kutudu noma.
I was telling you that resistance imemove now to Nyeri, Murang'a, akiwa Nyeri, which became the next front of fierce fighting. Anasema hivi. We descended into Tetu country early this morning, passing through a dense forest and bamboos. Our coming must have been known, for we found the path blocked at several places by trees. Numerous pitfalls with sharp stakes therein were dug on the path and cunningly covered over with loose earth. Only one man fell in, and he got badly spiked in the sides and hips. These pitfalls are a most effective method of defense, for they are easily dug and well concealed. Even the smallest track may have many. One stretch of the path was heavily pitted, as many as 14 being dug over a distance of 100 yards. If we had been expected, there would have been a poison arrow ambush at each of its pits. Just before we left the forest, 25 men and 15 rifles, we were all together and successful in surprising the enemy and burst on the cultivated area, meeting with organized resistance. So we can see, even with this whole battalion, army men, our people still put resistance.
Yeah.
So Richard Meinerzhagen was supposed to be this feared colonel, but Nyeri ali have hard time.
Na Tetu
warriors because of methods when walitumia traps nini. So resistance continued. People wajaikuwa tu rahisi. Hiyo haikuwa tu rahisi ati wametokea hivyo. So we can see even with the brutality colonization, the methods walikuwa wanatumia, especially through Richard Meinerzhagen, that our people put up a fierce resistance. Hapo Nyeri, Monaja. Meinerzhagen ikuwa rahisi even with his brutality. Na venye alikuwa ameogopwa and considered one of the best commanders British.
Alikuwa kemoda.
Alikuwa anaogopwa sana, but alikuwa mnyama. Akwa no doubt.
Umesema kitu powerful, that alikuwa the face of colonialism in our country.
Yes, kuna njia nyingine ya interpret colonialism. As we move on with the episodes, tutakam ku discuss hizi narratives zenye zime-legitimize na zili-justify colonization.
Siwezi imagine mtu anakaa chini ana justify colonization. Hiyo ni education ya kukufanya danda, by the way.
Zipo na ndio pia tumepitia tu chuo pia. Na chuo akutaka tukupelekwa na rada na vitu mob. Mimi nakumbuka kwanza nikiambiwa Lami ndio ileta barabara. I think by the time una finish high school, hata saa zingine atakolea wa campus, you feel there is more to appreciate British than condemn. I feel that.
That is true, by the way.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Unless uanze kusoma vitu zingine ama ukutane na another.
Niju, that is all you have been exposed to. Umekuwa exposed to narrative moja and inakuweka in this one line of thinking. Yes. So unless uko na alternative and sasa you can compare by yourself, you come to a conclusion yenye ina make sense sasa. Yes.
And the Liberated Minds podcast, the alternative.
Yeah.
Kwa hiyo. So, reading alternative materials kama za Professor Maina Kinyati. Lazima tuchambue mnyama. Mnyama anataka ku-mention several things za mnyama based on kwa diary yake. Only 3 passages.
Ebu tusome.
Nataka niosomee kwa passage moja akirecord. I sent all our captured stock into Fort Hall and rode in myself, returning to my camp here in the evening. In 1904. Our total captures were 782 cattle, 2,150 sheep and goats. We killed 796 of the enemy. I met Branca in Fort Hall, another of his colleagues. He tells me his column captured about 300 cattle and 6,000 sheep and goats, while Dixon's main camp wrecked in 602 cattle and 4,500 sheep and goats without firing a shot. There seems to be some doubt whether the latter captures are enemy property. So these are 3 colonial officers in one day in 1904. Wamecapture hizo animals zote, but we killed 796 people. Now, Wanjira leo imagine ukipanga watu line wafike 700.
Kai.
Wanaweza fika hadi wapi? 1 2 3 hadi 700. On another passage, still in 1904. Fort Hall bado.
Fort Hall ni Moranga.
Yeah, ni Moranga. The same number of people. And I mentioned the 700 plus. We marched into Fort Hall and the Embu expedition comes to an end. To my mind, the people of Embu have not been sufficiently hammered, and I should like to go back at once and have another go at them. During the first phase of the expedition against the Irieni, we killed about 796 niggers. And during the second phase against the Embu, we killed about 250.
Guy, our people are being butchered.
Those are
massacred.
Those are massacred.
Alafu wanasema, mimi na feel sijawa mada enough. Exactly. Nafaa nirudi ni wa made some more.
Yeah.
What the hell, man? Ouch. Nasikia goosebumps, by the way. What?
Mnyama na system ya wanyama.
That was colonialism.
Nataka kumention also how poaching imekuwa as we know it today is also a colonial thing. Huyu mnyama sijui kwa nini alikuwa anasikizana na wanyama because kuna pata hata kisome
Wanyama walimuattack nini?
Alikuwa na wanyama sana pia. So in Nairobi
Your gaming na by the way, your story ya Walami kuwa wanyama continues up to date. I don't know why I really do not know why they pose with dead
because
animals as something to be proud of, you know? Yeah, is it my conservatives? They are
conservancies nini kuna a lot tume.
Yeah.
Na tutachambua hata hiyo book
tutachambua
za kuichambua. So anasema hapa, on the 6th I killed my 8th lion at the river. Today I spied a rhino feeding among thorn scrub. Also he killed that rhino. Anaenda naongelea venye pia alipata ostrich na tutoroto wa ostrich pia kazimada.
That is so sad. That's
Richard Meinerzhagen to you, and that's British colonialism venye ilikuwa inakaa. You can never divorce that individual.
Na kwanza na history ya Kenya,
yeah,
by the way.
Some people love us
to forget.
He's a mad individual. No, in the creation here.
Because he was actually brought as one of the best British soldiers. Like, this is one of the best. We need to send him to this. A protectorate. Yes. By the way, our country was an extension of British land.
Yes.
I was watching a documentary where wanasema they are going to some other part of the British Empire in a faraway land that is beautiful and fertile, has all these animals. And then nchi yetu hiyo time ilikuwa sparsely populated. So, hizi tribes vile tunaishi hapa na hapa na hapa, there are many acres of land zenye zinatobea. So, wase wanakam kuzioccupy, but pia sisi ni wenyeji, tumeoccupy the best. Tuko near the river, highlands nini. So, wanatutoa huko kwa the best yetu, wanatuweka kwa concentration camps, and then now we are providing labor for them. After the defeat, wame to defeat because of this superiority of their weapons. They turned us into a slave people. Wale to turn into people who are there to cook for them, to make sure their animal tunapla hadi wa leo our farmers. Pole history unijamisha, man. Hadi wa leo coffee plantations, flowers nini, we are still working for these people. Hadi wa leo hatujai get land yetu. Hii book ni noma. Wewe kama uko na 2200 yako wekelea shika hii book, soma for yourself. Kwa sababu inakufungua akili vibaya sana. You feel like I want freedom now because I have been violated way too much. Alafu uangalie vile tunaishi sahi. Unajua, this is tracing back how come rich as we are as a country tunaishi hali duni hivyo hivi. Tunatrace shida ilienda wapi? And if the beginning is clear, we will have no problem with the end. I don't think most ni normal for a human being kuishi vile tunaishingi. I think intrinsically we are supposed to be free. Intrinsically we are supposed to enjoy this planet that we have been given. You know, it's supposed to be good vibes. It's supposed to be freedom. But imekuwa sufferation. Hadi mtu anajiulizaje, kwani mimi nilikama huko kutafuta ngado? Life imekuwa tu survival. Mbona tuna survive? Na hii ni nchi yetu. Why are we surviving? We're supposed to be thriving.
Just to give hope, Meinerzhagen before I die, kwa book kimrecord alisema, when the Gikuyu get educated, medicine replaced by political agitators, there will be a general rising in Kenya.
Oi, I feel so hopeful.
Yes,
knowing that freedom will come without a shadow of doubt.
Yes. Whenever kuna oppression, people will always
rebel.
When kuna poverty, inequality, all time high, watu wataamka. Na so ipo siku.
Yes, iko siku tutakuwa free. As we conclude, lazima nipige history ya one of the warriors alikuwa ana fight kina Meinerzhagen na akakuwa captured. Imagine hao Walamu walikuwa wanaita collaborators friendlies. Alikuwa captured by some friendlies. Anaitwa Gakere wa Ngojo. And he was captured together with his son Ngojo wa Gakere. Alafu ati wanamdescribe they had repulsively cruel faces. Atucheki mazee, tumeharibika. Ushaona Mwafrika amebonda. Alikuwa amebonda. Let me read. I shall send them as political prisoners to Nairobi to be dealt with by the commissioner. Commander Ngonjo ultimately deported to Kismayu in December of 1902. His son, Gakere, according to oral history, refused to cooperate. Meinerzhagen brutally murdered him in front of his father. Vile amemada mbele ya babake, sasa buda ya huyu mtoi akaambia Meinerzhagen, you have taken our land, built military bases in our country without our permission or consent. You have raped our women, killed thousands of our people, looted our livestock, but you will never have our hearts or succeed in crushing our determination to free our country. It does not matter how long it will take us. It does not matter how long it will take us to drive you out of this land of our ancestors. Please do not doubt my words. I mean every word I utter.
Hizi pingu zimenifunga zikanishinda kusonga, kusonga mbele, nashindwa kanta shinda hapa milele, nahitaji ukombozi, sahi, nahitaji ukombozi, sahi.